Serena Portal, and this is the message you need to hear. This could be a long one. I don't know if, I don't know if we have any people here yet. Please tell me if you can't hear me, because then I will stop and start over. I had some issues with that yesterday. But the message today is sharing the truth of our bodies. And this just feels huge to me, and there's so many ways to apply this, and there's so many ways in which I feel like our society has this dysfunctional quality about sharing our bodies or not sharing our bodies, or not necessarily even about sharing our bodies, but not telling the truth. So I'll start with where I first got the inspiration today. And it was a story of something that happened with my son yesterday, Zane. He is 11 years old. I just realized I probably want to watch that right now, because at some point in these videos it says your connection is weak. It always says that unless I do it in my data. So anyway, okay, I did that. So hopefully that'll clear up. Back to my story. My story about Zane, my 11-year-old. He shows up in the kitchen yesterday and he says, "Mom, have you been meaning to leave your blood in the toilet?" No, I can't say that's the exact quote, exactly what he said to me. But it was basically that I hadn't flushed the toilet and I have my period. And he was so funny about it because he's like, because that happened twice yesterday. And the first time I figured it was just like, you forgot. And then it happened again. So I just wanted to see, like, is she meaning to do that? What is going on? And this will be a little bit more of a window into my life and my house. In general, around here, we don't always flush the toilet after we pee. There's the whole, if it's yellow, let it mellow, sustainability. We don't have to flush it down every single time. So we kind of get in that habit. But when I have my period, I generally do flush the toilet. But he was sort of like, and he knows all about that kind of stuff. He knows about women's bodies and our cycles. And that's because about, 4 or 5 years ago, I had another situation where I had my period and I accidentally bled on my sheets. And my son came in and I felt like I had to hide it. And I was just like really ashamed because I was socialized to feel shame about that. And I really stopped to question, okay, what's that about? Why am I ashamed of this? This isn't that big of a deal. Is it that I'm ashamed that I'm bleeding? Is it that I'm ashamed that I couldn't take care of it in my sleep? Is it a shame my son can't know this? And I realized, I'm like, I don't have to immediately wash this off because he might see it. And so when he came in and he was younger, I just told him about it. And I started telling him about how women's bodies work. And it was really no big deal and a really good opportunity to share that kind of information with him. And later we had a conversation where I shared, what it's like for a woman when she has her period and good ways to treat women at that time and some ways that women might not want to be treated at that time. So it opened up a really good dialogue with him, and it opened up a dialogue in myself of, why do I hide this? Why am I embarrassed of this? And it's conditioning. I don't know that it necessarily came from my family or my parents, but certainly our society. It's something that we don't generally just come right out with. And I think as the years and the decades are going by, that's changing. I think it's really good that that's changing, because being more aware and being more honest about everything to do with our bodies, just maybe not everything all the time, but the converse is when we feel shame about our bodies and we hide things, that can be really damaging. I notice I have a tendency to hide also if I'm in pain or if I have a health issue. I somehow don't want to tell people about that sometimes. And I notice people with chronic illness issues have that challenge too. And I think the more that we speak about it, it's really healing because we all have things that go on with our bodies, and that's really normal. And somehow we've been taught to feel like that's not normal, and we have to hide it, we have to fix ourselves. I mean, of course, maybe you want healing, maybe you want to change your body, maybe you want transformation, and that is all good as long as you are making that choice. But I encourage you to question these immediate assumptions we have about our bodies and what we share and what we don't share. Because there is so much shame around it. And the truth is that that comes from the larger society and, honestly, corporations wanting to control us by keeping us disconnected from our bodies, keeping us disconnected from ourselves, and keeping us disconnected from our true power and alignment with the systems in our bodies, with our sexuality, which is demonized. Extremely powerful. Menstrual blood, powerful thing. Another one is, just our natural scent in our bodies is something that we are human animals and we're meant to have a scent, but we mask it and we clean it up and we cover it up. And it's really an interesting phenomenon. And I think that by not masking that as much, we could get some more information that we might need. I've been going through another sort of experiment in my life where about a year ago, it's almost exactly a year, I stopped using regular shampoo. And at the time, I was frustrated with the amount of time it took me to take a shower and wash my hair and get ready and blow dry it and all this. And I felt like it was just taking too much time from my life every day. And then I was judging myself for feeling that way because I was just like, God, you're so lazy. You don't even want to take the time to take a shower. What's the big deal? And then I was really inspired to try not shampooing my hair for a number of reasons. It just came up and I was inspired and I just went for it. And what I realized was once I wasn't washing my hair every day, I decided not to shower every day. And the truth is, that is just a really recent thing that people are doing, is stripping everything off of their bodies every single day and making sure that our hair looks extremely soft and clean and shiny every single day, and that we completely mask any natural body odor. And again, where does that come from? Corporations that want to sell us stuff because we're not good enough the way we are. And I think at a deeper level, really sharing in a physical way with the people around us, when we can feel each other and smell each other, there's something special and powerful in that. And once you open up to that possibility, it's a whole new world. You know a little bit better who you're drawn to and who you're not meant to be drawn to. And there's pheromones. There's all sorts of things that are messed with by us just masking everything. We just mask everything. It's like the pharmaceutical industry too. It's like, oh, you have a little bit of a pain? Let's just mask that. Let's not look at the real symptom or what's really going on. I mean, that's another thing. When you can smell your bodily excretions, when they start smelling really funky, hey, maybe there's something I need to clear up here. Maybe there's something in my diet or there's something in my life that's toxic that I need to release. So it's just what I'm encouraging here really is a questioning of all these things related to our bodies. I'm not saying you have to come out and share your menstrual blood, your farts, your pains, your aches, your scars, your places in your body that you don't love. I mean, you can if you want to go for it, But question why we don't share that. Question why you, if you don't share that, why you don't, and what it might look like if you do. Um, because there's a lot of juiciness there. There's a lot of power there. There's a lot of rawness there. Um, I'm just gonna take a pause for a second because I feel like there's more I want to share, and I want to do it justice. And there are natural pauses in life and sharing. ah. Another element that this comes up in, especially for women, has to do with body hair and makeup. Now I'm wearing makeup today, and I did wash my hair today with baking soda. Because it felt way too vulnerable to actually do this video. Like I could probably do it without makeup, but if I felt like my hair was yucky, I would have a hard time talking about these issues, which is funny. That might be the perfect time to do it. Um, but I'm not like saying, I'm not getting all like hippy dippy, you can't do this, you shouldn't do this. What I'm advocating again is questioning whether or not you want to, whether or not you want to wash your hair every day, whether or not you want to use all those products, whether or not you want to shower every day, whether or not you want to remove the hair from your body or get pedicures or wear makeup or any of that. Because I've kind of gone through both sides of that. And what's really helpful in having gone through both sides is you come hopefully out the other side with a freedom. And my example of that is like body hair, especially like the hair on my legs or the hair in my underarms. Um, when I was younger, I went through a really strong phase of not removing any of my body hair and being really strong and militant about that. And but I got sort of like stuck in that too. It wasn't really a freedom. It was like a rebellion against the society saying I had to do that, and I'm a rebel and I believe in this and I'm part of this culture, counterculture. And then if I felt like I wanted to remove any of my body hair, I felt like I was letting down the people in the counterculture. And this was back in the 90s. And now here I am living in Olympia, Washington, which is also, I'm part of sort of an alternative counterculture community here where we don't really do a lot of that. Like some people do and some people don't. But sometimes I feel like I want to. Sometimes I want to get my legs waxed. I get my eyebrows waxed. Sometimes, I do things with the different parts of my body that have hair, and sometimes I don't. And that's what's really freeing. Not to feel like, oh, this part of society says I have to do this. So I'm going to join this group that says I don't have to do this. But then I feel like I better not do it because if I'm going to be in this group, then I need to not do it. Instead, I look at myself and my needs daily like, do I feel like doing that? Do I want to do that? Is it worth my time today? Does it make me feel good? Does it not make me feel good? I'm really bringing it back to myself. Like, what is important to me? And what am I drawn to? And how do I want to express through this body, which is mine? I mean, so many people think they own our bodies, especially women and like any woman that is in the public eye. Good God, your body is yours. My body is mine. And they're beautiful, amazing, awesome tools to express through. They're gifts that we can choose to share with each other, or we can choose to not share with each other. We can choose to keep them for ourselves. But what has happened in our society these days is like a lot of weird dysfunction and energy coming up. So with this message, what I'm really encouraging, yet again, I'm saying again, is to question that. And it's not like an end all be all on the topic, obviously. It's a huge topic, but an invitation to explore your relationship with your body and how you want to experience it with yourself and how you choose to share it with others. It starts from the time we're little with consent issues. And I know a lot of people now are changing this with their children, but we get this idea that our body is not ours, that we have to do certain things. Go kiss your grandma, go give your uncle a hug, and you may not want to, but you then have to because you're told to. And we take that on, and then a commercial tells us, oh, you smell bad, you have to use this. So we do it because we took that on early in our lives. So I'm asking you to like maybe consider not taking that on anymore. Maybe like see in what ways are comfortable for you to let go of that. um, to really own your power and start to see the true beauty of who you are naturally, and that there's nothing wrong with imperfection. None of us are meant to be perfect. And we're so scared to show our imperfections because of this society that airbrushes the fuck out of everyone. And we all have to be a size 2, and otherwise that's not pretty, and da 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 da, all this. I just saw the movie Embrace last week, the documentary, and I encourage everybody to see it. And I encourage everybody to see any media that includes all different colors and sizes and shapes of bodies, or going to something that includes that. Places where there are nudity that is comfortable and safe, so we can see what bodies really look like, because there's an amazing variety and it's all beautiful. It's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But because we only see this one image of what a body is supposed to look like theoretically, we have a hard time loving ourselves. And it's so sad. We waste so much time just hating on ourselves. And I mean, this message is as much for me as it is for anyone out there. I mean, the really obvious one for me, well, are my teeth. And it's so funny because a lot of people tell me like they think this tooth thing is adorable. And I've actually even heard that in Japan they're doing it on purpose or something weird like that. My ex-husband, it was one of the first things he saw about me when he saw me in person for the first time. And I'm self-conscious about it, but he's like, no, that's adorable, never fix that, I love it. There was some artist who did a project, I think, of taking people's faces and bisecting them, and then using the mirror image so that the person's face was exactly the same on both sides, completely symmetrical, which we think is what beauty is, which we think is what we want. And when people saw the images of faces that were exactly perfectly symmetrical, they felt weird. They were wrong. They were like, whoa, what is that? Because that's not what naturally happens, and that's not really what we're drawn to, even though we're brainwashed to think that's what we need to be. And it keeps us small. It keeps us judging ourselves and each other instead of doing what's really important, which is the work of creating heaven on earth. Well, that's my goal, and I hope if you're listening to me, you want to go with me on that. Like, let's create something really awesome here instead of sitting here picking apart, the fact that I don't like my eyebrows, or I have a mama belly, like, I had a C-section. I have a little, I have a scar. I have a little shelf. I have a belly that I don't know if it's ever going to go away. I really wanted it to. But, it's like, it's good to take care of yourself. It's good to care about yourself. It's fine to care about your appearance, but it's important to examine if you're enslaved by that, or if you're doing it because you want to. And you get to choose. Don't even listen to me about this. Run it all past your internal system about how much of this you want to take on, how much you want to play with this, how much you want to, maybe you're like, hey, I'm going to try not using shampoo, or hey, I'm going to try smelling my natural scent. Or maybe that is not for you, and that's okay too. It's all okay. I just want to plant this seed of, maybe we could do things a little differently, because I've played with this kind of stuff for a long time, questioning things, questioning everything, trying new things. doing things that are alternative or counterculture, and then sometimes I come back a little bit more. It's like I go far to the left, and then I'm like, well, no, I do kind of like to take a shower at least once or twice a week. So I find my own place of beingness that feels good, and I want that for each one of you too, to find the sweet spot within that feels good. I see someone here. I don't know how to say your name. Kasia. She's going to help create Heaven on Earth. So I'm excited about that. I've got at least one person creating Heaven on Earth with me. Yay! Okay. So I'm going to look at my list. I made a bulleted list of things I wanted to bring up today while I was talking about this. I'm going to see if I've hit most of them. I think I've hit most of them. And it's okay to change, and it's okay to change day to day. That was one of the things. Sometimes I love like making my hair really nice, or what society thinks is nice, and putting on makeup and putting on nice clothes and feeling really goddessy. There's like a part of me that loves that and enjoys it. And then there's a part of me like, I moved to the Pacific Northwest because I love it here. And there's a part of me that embraces the whole, I'm going to be grungy and I'm going to be hairy and I'm going to be smelly and I'm going to wear a hoodie. If you look back at some of my videos, I noticed that I was wearing the same hoodie every day. And I do that sometimes. And it's just really lovely to feel the freedom to do that. And we do have the freedom to do that. To be what you really want to be without all the noise from outside. And you might still hear the noise from outside, especially if this is a new idea to you, to like, maybe I'm not going to shave my legs, or men, shave your face, or, maybe I'm not going to mask my scent. Like it pushes some comfort zones. It might not be totally comfortable for you or the people around you in the beginning. But I found a lot of people that actually are on this page, and it's fascinating to me to see people almost fall into two camps, like who really like natural scents and natural odors, and people who are gonna Febreze the shit out of everything. And like, to me, like, that stuff is toxic. I'd 10 times rather smell your fart or your BO than some sort of terrible fabric softener that is supposed to make your laundry smell clean. It's not. That's a carcinogen. You're poisoning the air. You're poisoning our lungs. Like almost all that stuff is poison. It's poison. And it's corporations that are poisoning us to spend our money, get us enslaved to the money system, and then make ourselves feel bad about ourselves and feel small, so that we don't actually rise up and be the powerful beings we are, creating heaven on earth and creating this amazing place and life that we can live without needing all their BS. So I think I'm almost done on my soapbox of this. It's been pretty fun. I'm glad to feel really inspired by a topic, and this is something I've meant to talk about for a while, so I enjoy it, especially that element of, you can go all the way this direction, and that's a rebellion, which might not actually be your true freedom, and then you kind of come back a little bit and you find your own place, like really finding the freedom of expression that you choose for yourself from within, that feels best for you. So, and sharing that with our partners, with our children, I think that's really important. And being honest about that. And if we're not feeling well, it's okay. I just wonder about that. The whole like hiding when we feel ill. Maybe it's like a deep animal instinct of like, oh, I'm weak, I'm vulnerable, they're gonna leave me behind. But we're evolving into a new place, I hope, where we don't just leave the weak and the vulnerable behind, where we actually care about what's going on in each other's lives and bodies and want to help and want to support. So try it out and share with me in the comments the ways that you have tried any of these things out, the ways you have experimented with being honest about your body and sharing it with yourself and others, and what that's done for you and what your experience has been. Share that with all of us. I think it's so powerful. It's such a paradigm shifter. And it really frees us then to take better care of ourselves when we're not denying what's really going on with us, what's really happening. So much love to you and all your beautiful bodies. If you get a chance to see the movie Embrace, I highly recommend it. It was already in Olympia and it was coming back to Olympia again. I'm not sure if the second screening has happened, but it's really powerful to see people owning their experience of their bodies. And we're starting a revolution, and it can be peaceful and it can be beautiful, it can be meaningful, and we can do it with love and care for ourselves and for everyone. That is my invitation to you. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Feel free to share this if it resonates with you.